Hello everybody and welcome back to Fighter Subscriber. Yes, we're back for the, I think it's the third episode proper now. I just need one more subscriber craft to do what I want to do to round this off into a nice little mini-series. So if you have a craft you've designed in your Saturn, by all means, please do send it in. But anyway, on to today's craft. This is the Hermit by Monzania Strike. It's an unconventional craft. It's a fun little craft. I do like it. I've had to make a couple of adjustments. There was a 30mm chain gun, which my little set of rules don't allow, so I've taken that off. I've had to do a bit of balancing and stability adjustments, because it was a very squirrely craft. But yeah, also you might have noticed this thing's got quite a nose on it, and the more observant among you will have noticed that's actually a fairing, but more on that a little later. Anyway, let's stop talking about it and let's start flying it. So as per usual, we took this thing up for a test flight, and yeah, it's quite a manoeuvrable craft. It doesn't quite have the wing area of some of the other craft I've tested, but it can maintain a very high angle of attack, and that's after I've toned it down quite a lot, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in a dogfight situation. Also, it's a very interesting name for a craft, the Hermit. Not your traditional fighter craft name, but I like it. It conjures up an image of an old man living in rural isolation who only pops out of his run-down house every now and again to shoot a radar-guided missile at people, but maybe that's just me. Anyway, what about that nose cone? Well, imagine, if you will, you're flying along, you've fired off all your missiles, but you really could do with some more, so all you do with this craft is you deploy the fairing, and lo and behold, you have a secret stash of sidewinders ready for you to fire off at will. Now, I'm not sure how practical an emergency stash of missiles would be in a real combat scenario, but it's a fun little addition, and I do like the use of the rotary bomb rack, or missile rack in this case. Anyway, that's enough of an introduction. Let's get on with the dogfights. So we start, as is traditional, by lining up 3 of these Hermits against 3 of my Cyclones. Let the games begin. It's nice to be back doing a bit more Fighter Subscriber. It feels like quite a while since the last video. I'm not sure how long it is, but anyway, it's good to be back in the seat again. A thought did occur whilst I was throwing all this together. If you're watching this, or particularly if you've sent in a craft, and you look up here and you see the letter A or the letter R next to the craft name, and you're thinking, well, that wasn't in the craft name when I sent it. It's just if I have to make some adjustments to a craft before it's ready to fight, I'll make a copy and I'll put a letter next to it to let me know A, that this is a copy, and B, what adjustments I have had to make to make it ready to fight. But talking of ready to fight, they're getting a little close. We are getting up to about 7.5 kilometers now, so any second now, there we go. Our craft turn and the competition begins. So we're into missile tennis to begin with, but hopefully we get up close and personal with these craft, because they are, well, they're interesting dogfighters, particularly the Hermits. I'll be very interested to see how they get on. Everybody braking low, nobody missing out on the nobody missing out on an incoming missile. I'm assuming the Cyclones are doing likewise. A lot of explosions there. I'm going to assume that was just missiles exploding and not a craft. It appears that that's what's happened. Round 2, closing to about 4.5 kilometers now. Oh, that was close. Oh, and PK, we'll call you PK. PK has part of her wing destroyed, and all of her missiles to go along with it. That is, oh my god, one of the Hermits has gone, and one of the Cyclones has gone as well. What the hell happened there? That must have been missile kills. So it's 2v1, and with this Cyclone in this state, it's got to be advantage Hermits. Here's Jebediah Kerman laying some fire into the last remaining healthy Cyclone. I said Dragonfly earlier. I don't know why I said that. I haven't used those crafts for ages. But here we go. Can Jebediah get a quick kill, which would almost certainly ensure a quick victory for the Hermits. Indeed he can. Debris goes flying past. My word, that has not worked out well for the Cyclones. The Hermits, 2 craft, entirely healthy. I don't think I see any real damage there. No. And they both pile in on this last Cyclone, who has lost all missile. Ooh, still has a Sidewinder, but is missing a bit of wing surface. Oh, and both canards as well. I didn't notice that. And one engineer, one air intake. Yeah, it's not looking good for you. I hate to say it. Does an evasive roll, but surely only a matter of time before that gunfire finds its mark. A quick smattering, but no real damage there. Pulling some more evasive manoeuvres. Loses engines for a bit. As I said, she's down to the one air intake, which really isn't going to help. Gets into a spin. You can't be doing that going towards the ground in a craft when you're missing that much by way of control surfaces. We're getting a fair distance away from the KSC here. It's a brave showing. It's a brave showing, I'll give her that, but surely ultimately for nothing. Spins out. There we go. And that is the last Cyclone disabled. It disappears from the vessel switcher. So I'm guessing that's the bit of debris that has the weapon manager attached to it, rendering that last Cyclone unable to fight. So that is victory for the Hermits as they go and chase down the remnants of that last Cyclone. But it's time for us to move on to the next fight. So next up, it's the turn of the Clubtails to see if they can spoil the Hermits' party. Let's get this started. The Hermits do have an engine advantage over my own craft. My own craft, of course, have these standard Panther afterburning engines, whereas the Hermits have been fitted with the more powerful Saturns, which come with BD Armory. I did consider doing something about that. I did think maybe banning the more powerful engines that come with BD Armory, but they are BD Armory standard engines. Another something else I was thinking of was maybe upgrading my own craft to use the more powerful Saturn engines, which is probably my preferred option, but I'll leave that until after the first season of Fighter Subscriber is done, so we leave everyone on a level playing field. Anyway, how are we doing? We're getting up just about to 8 kilometers, so any second now. There we go, and we get into yet another round of missile tennis. Jeffka, Matzel, and of course Jebediah loosing their first volley. Now, we did have a couple of early missile kills. I assume they were missile kills. They certainly had all the hallmarks of it early on. I think everyone's got a missile. Yep, everyone's got a missile incoming, and I will assume it's the same for the Clubtails. Oh, that looked like it came very close, but no. Richmie Kerman looks to be unscathed. Sido launching Sidewinder, as you'd expect with a name like that. But now we're getting into a bit of a missile competition. All the craft still fighting. Richmie Kerman opens up guns, scorches one of the Hermits. Doesn't seem to be any major damage, scorches it again. Still seems to be flying, no obvious damage from this distance. That Hermit breaks low. Yeah, must just have been superficial damage, nothing major that I can see. Or canards or control surfaces, yeah. Still got quite a few missiles. Let's stick with the Hermits. Jeffka Kerman, missile coming in. Does some damage. Loses a bit of wing surface. I expect lost a few missiles as well. But apart from that, seems to have gotten away unscathed. Lost the air intake on this side, but this craft does have 3 of them, so there's a bit of Bit of redundancy built in. Another missile incoming. Breaking low again. The club tails, I'd say... Oh! And that would appear to be Jeffka Kerman out of it. Matzel Kerman and Jebediah left. Jebediah opening up with his cannons. Flies straight past that club tail, no major damage. The game pauses for a second. I wasn't sure if that was because something else was exploding, but it doesn't look like it. Major amount of gunfire going in here. Matzel Kerman has one of the club tails in his sights. Looks to have done a bit of damage, but not enough by the looks of things. Jebediah making that extra engine power count by putting quite a fair bit of distance between himself and those club tails, which might not help his wingman. Although there is his wingman flying in, targeting one of the club tails, trying to put guns onto it, but not quite managing. Big explosion. What was that? I assume that was a missile that didn't quite make its mark. Matzel Kerman, one of the club tails, straight ahead, scorches it. Bits go flying past. That's got to have been some significant damage there. But the craft keeps flying. Can Matzel Kerman get the follow-up hits and get the kill? Although right now she does have to worry. She's got a fair amount of gunfire on her tail. It's going everywhere. Let's see if we can find the club tail that was scorched. This was it. Gwenlong Kerman lost one of her... lost part of his tail. Doesn't appear to be too deterred, going after that hermit and sticking to its tail relentlessly. Opens up with more guns. Oh my god, there is gunfire everywhere at the moment. Jebediah Kerman appears to be at the head of all of it. Matzel Kerman not far behind. Who's that? Yes. Yeah, you gotta say it does not look good for the hermits at the moment. A smattering of gunfire catches Matzel, but no damage done. Matzel Kerman. Just checking. Has lost a control surface, but nothing major. Gets scorched. Again, doesn't appear to be any major damage there. What's that? That's debris. That is hermit debris. Jebediah has lost an engine. Stills continues to fly. No other damage. Well, I mean, apart from the... I mean, it's pretty major to have an engine missing, but more gunfire rains in. Has lost a control surface, but is still going. Oh, and that's the other hermit out of here. It's 3 versus a half at the moment. What happened to that other... Ah, yeah, looks like that other hermit had the web manager shot off. Not good news, not good news at all. Continues to distract some of the club tails, though, but surely just delaying the inevitable now. That's very close. Gets a smattering. Oh, that's looking very close. Just one good hit and Jebediah is out of here. Goes into a spin. Gets hit. More damage. Lost all but one control surface. More damage, more damage. Lost both engines. In comes more gunfire. Jebediah's craft is getting gradually shredded. And that is the end of the final hermit. The club tails have pulled one back for my own craft. And what a fight it was, which I suspect you've seen quite a heavily edited version of in the final video. Although he does manage to land, well, survive the landing, so that's something at least. But we still have one final challenge for these craft. So next up, the Hermits will fight against my Panthers. So for one final time, let's get them into the air. So any second now, the craft will be at the prerequisite 8 kilometers distance. There we go. So let's see how this final fight will take place. One apiece between the Hermits and my own craft. The Panthers... Panthers generally tend to be a little bit faster than my other craft. I'm hoping that will mean we see these craft close to gun range a lot quicker, because it's there's been a lot of missile tennis going on during these fights. I'm not sure if it's just me, it's just been a while since I've done these, but it does seem like it's taken them longer to get to gun range. As I said, that might just be me, but I am hoping we close to gun range. Oh! And almost straight away, that is one of the Panthers falling to missiles. Just debris. Doesn't seem to be any major chunk of it left. And that is really, really advantage Hermits. Very early on. I really wasn't expecting that. These Panthers are normally pretty good at dodging missiles. But let's see how the rest of the fight transpires. Maybe the Panthers will be able to get a quick revenge kill, and then it's anyone's game. But aside from that, you have to fancy the Hermits from here on in. Matzel Kerman closing the distance now. Switches to guns. Can Matzel get another kill? Make it 3-on-1. Really put that last Panther on the ropes. Doesn't appear like it at the moment. Oh, man does manage to get a little bit of damage. But I suspect that's just superficial. Sticks to that Panther's tail though. More gunfire rains in. Doesn't appear to be a lot happening apart from that. Which Panther is that? This one. Doesn't appear to be missing any tail surface, any control surfaces. Nope. Seems to have both guns, selection of missiles, no major damage there then. Can Kerman, nice name, imaginative parents. Can Kerman somehow turn things round? But on the other hand, if Kerman is keeping that Hermit busy, then I suspect Lukot Kerman is attracting the attention of those other Hermits, and indeed he has one on his tail. Oh, that's two lots of gunfire raining in there. That is not looking good news for Lukot there. Oh, just gets a smattering. Missing part of his wing. Twists and turns, missing another part of his wing that I didn't notice. Ducks low, gets shredded, and now surely it's the ocean for him. 3 against 1. 3 against 1 very quickly, and I'm not seeing any significant damage to any of the Hermits. No. Matzel Kerman goes in with a close pass on that final Panther, but doesn't manage to do any damage. Oh, they are getting very close. Kerman. Come on, Kerman. I just wanted to say that. He's not got a chance in hell. The gunfire rains in. The attention of 3 Panthers. That looks like a missile incoming. Pop some chaff. But it's not looking good for you, buddy. Really is not looking good for you. Breaks low. Doesn't appear to be any damage on him whatsoever. Well, until that rained in. Appears to be superficial. Perhaps some missiles. Breaks low. Manages to pull out before he hits the ocean. It is going to take a Herculean effort to pull it around from this juncture, but well, stranger things have happened. Not many, but they have happened. Oh, here comes the gunfire though. 3 lots. pulls some evasive manoeuvres, manages to get rid of the worst of them, but there we go. Appears to have lost his weapons manager, and that is the craft disabled. And ultimately out of here, those hermits will come and finish him off at their leisure. There we go. So victory for the hermits in this fight, and victory 2-1 overall. As I said, an interesting little craft. They've certainly been entertaining here. I wasn't sure how they perform in combat, but they have performed admirably. As I said earlier, I do need just one more subscriber craft if I want to... oh, hang on. He's got an engine missing. It wasn't all bad news for the Panthers. Sorry, as I was saying, yes, I do need just one more subscriber craft to round off this, to end this mini-series as I want it. As I said, if you've got any, by all means, please send them in. All very gratefully received. Another big thank you to Monsania Strike. Monsania Strike? It's not my day for names. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.